Thanks for joining us. I'm Becca Habiger in for Alex Bell, and this is To the Point. The main point across the country tonight is the holiday travel rush. Now, every year, just before Christmas, we send our news crews to the airport in search of long ticket lines at those counters and those departure boards that say canceled. Well, there are flight cancellations and delays to talk about. There are also questions about getting to and from the airport. Parking tends to be an issue at SMF this time of year, so we sent our Alicia Machado out to the Uber and Lyft line outside Terminal B. Alicia, what are people choosing to do?
Hey, Becca, a lot of people we spoke with tonight are choosing to do rideshare, Uber and Lyft just to make sure that they don't have to deal with parking issues when they come to the airport or traffic as the holiday travel season picks up. Take a look out here right now. You can see a steady flow of cars just coming in. We've seen a lot of ebb and flow throughout the night of, seeing drivers who are coming in to pick up passengers and then passengers waiting to get those drivers out here. So you might be wondering at home, should you plan to drive or catch a ride as you come to the airport? As we've reported throughout the holiday season, on busy travel days like this, we've seen times where there have been no parking spots available in the past. Thanksgiving, for instance. This is why so many people are opting to take Uber, Lyft, or a taxi to the airport instead. We caught up with one man who has been an Uber driver since 2015, just as he dropped off his first customer for the day.
Because it's getting to Christmas, so a lot of people traveling, so it's going to be pretty busy. Uber and Lyft, they come handy when you need them. Yeah, sometimes I take them too.
Now, air travel will see a 14% increase over last year, according to AAA. For those heading out tonight, plan some extra time as you head out on those roads. They are expected to be congested until 7 p.m. AAA also expects holiday traffic from noon to 6 p.m. tomorrow to pick up. So keep that in mind as you head to the airport. Right now, we want to try to take a look at the SMF parking map. I'll pull that open for you right now. Taking a look here at the open spaces. We've got thousands of open spaces here tonight, folks. Take a look at this map. You can see there are about 3,000 between 500 to 1,700, depending on which parking lot you choose. So just take a look at that map before you head on out here tonight. Becca?
Alicia, thanks so much. The map is so helpful. It is definitely in real time, and I have used it when choosing whether to Uber or to drive to the airport myself. Thank you so much. Now, we mentioned canceled and delayed flights. This is why. By Christmas Day, parts of the Northeast are going to be below zero. Governors are declaring states of emergency, telling everyone to get ready for temperatures they haven't felt in at least a decade. Well, we aren't going to be feeling this cold snap here in California. Many people are finding out their flights were canceled or delayed while on their way out the door. Airport officials in California say, though, this didn't come as a surprise.
There is disruption going on. As of this morning, the impact was estimated to be around 10% of the 45,000 some odd flights.
Monica, what do folks need to know as they are facing their holiday travel?
Well, we're going to continue to watch those blizzard warnings, winter storm warnings, well as they head into parts of the Midwest and the Great Lakes regions, as well as the Northern Plains. You can see the weather impacts right now that are in effect. Blizzard warning through parts of the Northern Plains, stretching through parts of the Great Lakes, and then we get into that winter storm warning. This is the reason why. Big band of moisture moving through with snow all the way down into Tennessee and parts of Mississippi. That cold air is going to march its way eastward across most of the country. So you can see how all this cold air is pushing its way south into Texas and then eventually into the deep south. Again, looking at temperatures that are some 20 to almost 30 degrees below what we're used to at this point. Right now, those temperatures are below zero for Bismarck, Minneapolis, and St. Louis, all the way into Kansas City at 5 below zero. Atlanta is only at 46 degrees. This low pressure system is going to continue to bring breezy conditions as well. So you combine the cold weather and the wind, and those wind chills are going to feel anywhere from about 10 to 40 degrees below zero. We've got a few showers that are moving through our area, but Becca, we have a huge storm lineup heading our way next week. This is going to head into the New Year's holiday. I've got more on that coming up.
All right, thanks so much, Monica. A prominent street in West Sacramento was about to get a new name honoring its longtime mayor, Christopher Cabaldon. But some neighbors tell us they don't want the former mayor's name on that street and feel the council ignored their concerns. Digital producer Ayanna Williams first caught wind of this story through good old-fashioned boots-on-the-ground journalism, just listening in on a West Sacramento City Council meeting. And here's what we found.
They're supposed to be representatives of the people, and we are the people. And when we say something, they should be listening to us.
Alfred Melbourne is an organizer with West Sacramento's Broderick and Bright Neighborhood Association. Group members have been vocal in their opposition to renaming this street, currently the Tower Bridge Gateway, as Christopher L. Cabaldon Parkway. He was the city's first elected mayor, who served for the better part of 2 decades before losing re-election to current mayor Martha Guerrero back in 2020.
The street, you come into West Sacramento, it's the first thing you see. And I'm sorry, but Christopher Cabaldon does not represent all of the community. You know, the north side, there was a lot of things that weren't done, and we don't feel that he deserves a street named after him. Maybe something else.
Before the city council's vote, neighbors on Facebook came up with alternatives. I'd like to see the First Nations peoples honored, Melbourne wrote. Someone suggested naming the street after Fidel Martinez, a former mayor who died in 2020. This person saying he was such a compassionate individual and he loved his community. We should really name it after Margaret McDowell, another suggested. She's an early settler from the Gold Rush era. At the November 16th city council meeting, where council members were set to vote on the renaming, several community members showed up to voice their opposition.
Why don't you just say, we're here to serve developers? Why don't you say that out loud?
But they say they don't feel the council heard their voices, and the renaming passed.
Ellos están tomando decisiones por ellos mismos para el bienestar más bien de ciertas personas en la comunidad, pero no están tomando en cuenta a la comunidad.
Only councilmember Norma Alcala voted against the measure.
I still believe that, public input is really important on something so major because it is the large intersection there. And regardless of who it was named after, I think it's really important. And I've heard from many members of the public, especially from my side of the area, and I would have liked to have had more input from more West Sacramentans.
Now, a big part of people's concerns was procedural. For example, West Sacramento city policy states a street can't be named after a living person, and former Mayor Cabaldon is still very much alive. However, the city manager explained that applies to new streets, not renaming existing ones. People are also worried council members had violated something called the Brown Act by not allowing public comment. We asked the city to respond, and Mayor Martha Guerrero said, in part, the city attorney reviewed and confirmed that no violation of the Brown Act took place with either the request to place an item on a future agenda or with the street renaming action. Now, ABC 10 looked into this, and it appears that there was likely no violation. While there was no public comment at the October meeting, where the council simply voted to put the measure on November's agenda, there was public comment at the November meeting, and that's where the council actually voted on the renaming itself. Now, we should add, neighbors say this is not over. They want to organize a public forum to reconsider the matter and get more community input. And when we come back, a look at some of the other stories we're following tonight, including a deadly crash in Antelope involving a deputy that sent 5 people to the hospital. Here are some of the other stories we're following tonight. A 19-year-old died this morning on Alberta Road in Antelope after their car crashed into the side of a sheriff's deputy cruiser. That's according to the CHP. They say the driver was thrown from their car. All 4 people inside the car, the driver and 3 passengers, were not wearing seatbelts, officials say. The 3 passengers were taken to the hospital along with the sheriff's deputy. The deputy was later released with minor injuries. The Placer County Water Agency has filed a lawsuit against PG&E for damages related to the mosquito fire. The suit says the damage from the fire impacted energy production at the Middle Fork American River project and, in effect, caused the agency to lose millions of dollars. In a statement, PG&E responded to the claims, saying the official cause of the mosquito fire has not been determined yet. The total cost of the fire's damage hasn't been determined yet either. Sacramento County has now settled a suit with immigration advocates, alleging the then sheriff of the county, Scott Jones, was illegally transferring immigrants to ICE custody. In the settlement, the sheriff's department must follow state and local laws about when law enforcement can work with deportation authorities like ICE. It must also tell immigrants if they will be turned over to ICE. And you can find much more ABC 10 original reporting on our website, abc10.com. Welcome back. The holiday season is a time filled with celebrations, traditions, and time with family and friends. While most of us may live and spend time with people who practice the same traditions as we do, you may find yourself living near or working with people who have other holiday traditions. ABC 10's John Bartel talks about the importance of being more inclusive during the holidays.
The phrase Happy Holidays is not just a politically correct way to say Merry Christmas. The phrase Happy Holidays is actually a more inclusive way of acknowledging the many holidays that take place during the winter season. Take, for example, Kwanzaa, which is an annual celebration of African American culture, which starts a day after Christmas.
It's an African harvest festival that is celebrated from the 26th of December to the 1st of January. 7 days, each day has a different meaning and different principle.
As Dr. Chaka Muhammad with the Center for Spiritual Awareness explains, Kwanzaa is not a religious holiday. It's simply a celebration based on 7 principles: unity, self-determination, collective work and responsibility, uplifting your community economically, purpose, creativity, and faith.
It's a reaffirmation of your spirituality, your creativity, the success that you've had with your family, the love.
Though Kwanzaa has African roots, it was created in 1966 by California professor Maulana Karenga during the Black Power movement. The holiday is mainly celebrated in the United States with music, dance, food, and the lighting of red, black, and green candles.
The black is for the people, the red is for the blood, and the green is for the earth.
From December 26th to December 24th, Mexico and parts of Latin America celebrate Las Posadas, which means the inns in Spanish.
A traditional posada is kind of like a pilgrimage where families and friends go to each other's homes for several days throughout the Christmas holidays, asking for entry.
A version of Las Posadas is celebrated at La Familia Counseling Center in Sacramento. Executive Director Rachel Rios says the holiday commemorates the biblical journey that Joseph and Mary made while looking for safe refuge to give birth to baby Jesus.
It is somewhat of a religious celebration, and so people will dress up, and then the couple that is Mary and Joseph will come in at the front asking for entry into the home. There's a song that's sung.
Once inside the home or place of congregation, the celebration begins.
At a traditional posada party, there's usually food, beverage, there's a piñata, there's games, and celebration.
The Jewish holiday of Hanukkah is celebrated around the time of Christmas, but it's only as of recent that major department stores started offering lighting displays and elaborate decorations like the ones seen outside this Sacramento home.
Yeah, there was a time where the stores completely ignored the idea that there was any other holiday at this time of year.
Rabbi Mona Alfie of the Sacramento B'nai Israel congregation is pleased to see that Hanukkah is getting more exposure, especially after a long history of anti-Semitism. The 8-day celebration, which is also known as the Festival of Lights, involves lighting candles in commemoration of the rededication of the Holy Temple of Jerusalem. This follows the Maccabean revolt against the Syrian Greek army.
It literally makes me happy every year to go into Target and to see the displays that they have and the options that they have for us. And you'll hear a buzz amongst everybody, from the kids to the older members of our congregation.
The phrase Happy Holidays is an inclusive way of acknowledging many holidays that take place during the winter season. So next time you greet someone this time of year, consider asking them how they celebrate. It might just give you a new perspective on this festive time of year. I'm John Bartel. Happy holidays.
Now, last week on To The Point, we reminded you of a growing risk in California, a mega flood. And one of our viewers, Marlis, it reminded her of a flood she lived through back in 1965. So much so, she shared this newspaper that she kept showing the fallout from those high waters. I want to be very careful with this. Marlis, thank you for sharing with this with us tonight. Look at this, the 1,000-year flood, 6 rivers on a rampage. And tonight, our photojournalist Xavier Iriarte is helping bring the stories of this nearly 60-year-old newspaper back to life.
Imprisoned by flood, 10 persons wait in terror.
Homes, train swept in river.
Army Corps repairing Blue Lake levees.
Southern Humboldt devastated.
Trinity River rips into valley.
Marooned for 2.5 days.
Flyers of area displayed rare bravery.
What a treasure trove of history. I should mention first, you can find our whole Mega Flood series on abc10.com/megaflood. And our chief meteorologist, Monica Woods, spearheaded that project. Monica, you saw those images. What's sticking out to you?
Well, what's sticking out is that the infrastructure has changed so much because of floods like that to protect the valley, which is a natural floodplain. So everything runs downhill when you have rain on top of snow. It has nowhere else to go but downhill into the valley, which becomes a big cavity to hold all of that water. But again, numerous projects have been put into place and are continuing to be reinforced because of patterns that just aren't going to change, like the one that's setting up next week. We are leaning wetter and warmer. And again, when we get rain on top of snowpack that's already in place, that's a dangerous combination, which we are going to be following very closely. We've been in a really cold pattern actually lately, average high 55 degrees, but you can see those highs have only been in the 40s and 50s. We are about to change things around back into the 60s here before too long. Highs for today region-wide in the 40s for the valley, 50s along the coast, close to 50 for the foothills, and close to 40 up top for the Sierra. Our Gilmore backyard right now, we have dry conditions. We're in the 40s for the valley, 32 for Tahoe. Our highs for tomorrow already starting to warm into the mid to upper 50s throughout the valley. And notice that the cloud cover starting to thin out. A few light showers rippling through for tonight, but then it's all about the fog for the holiday weekend for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. That's not going to be the main impacts. Those start to develop late Monday through Tuesday and Wednesday, Tuesday being our high impact day. Heavy rain and snow, strong winds, and a higher snow level. But that snow level starts to drop on Wednesday as the colder air starts to work on through. So here it is playing out for next week. The heaviest rain coming in on Tuesday, snow level high up around 8,000 to 8,500 feet. It lowers on Wednesday, but we continue to see areas of showers all the way through Wednesday. And then our next storm in the pipeline hits on Thursday. That one a bit colder, but then we get into the Saturday storm. That one turns warmer again. So we're going to get fresh snowpack and put rain on top of it, which will continue into New Year's Day as well. Total rainfall. This is just from storm system number 1. Monday night into Tuesday and Wednesday, 1 to 2 inches of rain for the valley, 2 to 4 to almost 5 inches of rain for parts of the foothills and the Sierra. So we're going to be following the rain impacts, which include the potential for some flooding, mainly from creeks and streams, not wide-scale river flooding. We'll certainly watch that deeper into the forecast. As far as our snowfall, about 8 to 24 inches of snow, but it's going to be a changing snow line Monday at about 8,000 to 8,500 feet. Still above the passes on Tuesday. It's not until Wednesday that starts to come below the passes on many of our roadways into the high country. Be prepared for lots of changing conditions for the Sierra. In the meantime, our Friday, Saturday, and Sunday forecast looking good. Highs in the 40s tomorrow for the Sierra, 50s and 60s down low, and we'll continue to see that throughout the coast and for the valley as well. No more bitterly cold overnight lows. Instead, we're going to be quite mild. The big weather event, though, shaping up for next week. Monday into Tuesday, it all gets going. And you can see here, Becca, how things are going to continue to be very wet into next week.
Monica, thank you so much, and we'll be right back. Well, that does it for To The Point on this Thursday night. Do you have a historical newspaper we can take a look at like Marla sent our way? We want to know what's going on in your community. Email us at tothepoint@abc10.com. Have a good night.
Hey, it's Alex. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I really love hearing from everyone, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. Reach out to me on Facebook at AlexBellTV, or you can email me at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send me a text message at 916-321-3310.